Super Bowl 53 features a lot of matchups between the old guard and the new blood. We're going to talk about X's and O's, matchups, and more coming at you right now. Well, it's here. It's Super Bowl weekend. The Patriots and Rams are going to go head-to-head on February 3rd, and most of us are going to watch it. I will be one of them. Welcome if you're new to this channel. This is a channel about the NFL, a lot about Chiefs, but we cover the league. I go over a little bit of everything, and this, in particular, is a Super Bowl preview show. If you like what you see, hit that subscription, get the notifications, leave your comment, and leave a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. We are brought to you once again this episode and the rest of the postseason by Insurance Incorporated, giving you all your insurance needs for auto, home, life, and business. Check them out at the website below and get a quote today. A lot going on here. We're going to talk about the big things right off the bat. So this matchup comes down to two teams that, as a guy who covers the Chiefs, I've seen both of them. We've seen a lot out of them, and it really comes down to experience, the drive for perfection in New England, guys that have worked together for such a long time versus the new style, the new blood. Between Mcvay and Goff, getting everything on pace. Because I think that while the run games are going to be important on both sides of the ball, I think it does really boil down to, at the end of the day, this Super Bowl comes down to the coach-quarterback combination on each side of these teams. Very intrigued to see just how it comes out. And there's a lot to be seen here because all the newfangled flashes that you see from the Mcvay offense, even though they don't run out of a whole lot of sets, it's not like Andy Reid in Kansas City. You get a lot out of it. Very hard to get a pre-snap read on them. Obviously, Bill Belichick on the other side, running that defense, trying to combat them, is very, very experienced at taking away what they do best. So a couple of matchups to watch for when the Patriots are playing defense against the Rams offense. First and foremost, can you stop the run? This team, especially in the playoffs, has liked to come out and use that battering ram. They have a two-headed monster in the backfield with Gurley and Anderson, and I think it's a bit of a throwback at times that goes nicely with their newfangled pass offense. This Patriots defense is crafty, though. Belichick is very good at scheming against what you're strong at. So I expect to be a little bit more of a corral going on in the run game. And that leaves the pass game. And when you get into that, without Cooper Kupp, I think that takes a dimensionality away from the Rams a bit. But they still have a lot of weapons. And if I'm Bill Belichick, I have a tendency to think that you take Gilmore and you put him on Woods. Kind of that matchup that I think is fairly even athletically, even in experience as well. And I think that's something that the Patriots will look to do in order to kind of stifle him with one person. I think that allows them to then freely double either a guy I would be most scared of is Cooks. I think Cooks is probably the bigger threat, and especially because the Patriots are familiar with him, I think they're going to look to take him away first and foremost, and that may leave a little bit of room for the tight end Everett because he's an athletic guy, and I think the matchup is there for him. So they can try to go to him when they get everything else kind of broken down. I think he's a guy that might have a chance to come up with a couple of big plays. I don't think he's going to be a staple, but he could actually be somebody that makes a difference. Now, when we look at the Patriots passing game, they're certainly going to pepper in the outside guys in Hogan, a little bit of Dorsett. He's got the speed that they can take advantage of, or at least try to push the length of the field a bit. But I don't think that's going to be the focus. Now, certainly up and down season from Gronkowski. We'll talk about him long-term here in a minute, but you might see him be a motivated kind of guy, get a couple of plays. He's been up and down, but we'll see what he has for this Rams team. Edelman. I think Edelman's a guy that can make a living underneath, and if you have a breakdown, you wait for that breakdown, and then I think you're going to see Brady take advantage of it. Very, very good in completion in that intermediate range, Tom Brady is, and honestly, he's very good against pressure, so when we flip the ball over, the quarterback thing is going to be about where is Aaron Donald. I think they should move him around, stand him up a little bit, rush him from the outside, because when you look at the main matchup, you got to get the ball out quickly because that's what Brady does. And Donald's the only guy that has a chance to really get there, I feel. The key matchup is if they do leave him down inside in the B2B gaps, those guards in Shaq Mason and Tooney, they're going to be really, really heavily relied upon because Ndamukong Suh's been coming on. You have that kind of duality there in the middle. Look for them to have to really scheme around that. Now, if I'm Wade Phillips, I want to move those guys around a little bit. Maybe Suh as well, but definitely Aaron Donald. Now, the Patriots' running attack, in the postseason in particular, has been one that's come out and shown you a bunch of variations. And the reason that that's so important is because Sony Michel's a good runner, and they're going to try to batter you a little bit. It's been their formula for this offseason, and I think they want to continue it. Maybe not quite as heavily as they have, but I expect to see Devlin in there. I expect to see some fullback, and they're going to make you earn it. They're going to make you be physical and hopefully look to tire you out some. And if the Rams were able to stop Michel inside and Burkhead as well, I think that sets up for what they take the next step forward. And I think that flows through Edelman, but also James White. I think James White is the X factor in this game. And I feel like he may be the toughest cover for this team. He's just got a way about getting yardage without looking like he's even working very hard. I don't expect him to give him a whole lot of touches, but can the Rams defend him enough to control it? Because he really is an extension of that run game. When you look at the balance that they have between carries for Michel as well as possessions, catches for White, I think that really is the two-headed monster. You got to keep an eye on that. So those are the matchups that I really see being key to this particular football game. And I think there's a little bit of an X factor here too. In the end, I think this comes down to the coaching battle. Yes, they're pairs of quarterback coaches, but Belichick's experience against McVay's innovation is really, I think, what is the bottom line at the end of the day. Both make adjustments, and both are going to have to. So I think that slugfest between the head coaches is really going to set the tempo and be the deciding factor overall. But I also think that if you go with the trends and you see what these teams are, the Patriots have started slow, the Rams have been a little up and down, so I expect it to look fairly tight for most of the ballgame. I think both have things that they can exploit. But after about 3 quarters, I think experience starts to take over, and I think you're going to see that the old ball coach has a bit of an advantage over the young guy. And lastly, the motivational factor for Belichick, for Brady, for Gronkowski. The three of them can see the end coming for them as a trio. Gronkowski might be the first to retire. Who knows what happens if they win this ballgame. So I think that that is motivation in and of itself. And I think those three in particular, but the whole team in New England overall, does very well when they are highly motivated. And I think that gives them the edge going into this ballgame. Well, that's how I see it, but I want to know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Make sure you're subscribed and notified, and that you leave a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing, especially all of you new folks. If you don't know who RGR is, well, that's me, and welcome to the channel. For all of you that have been hanging in all season, off-season starts tomorrow. We'll start talking draft, etc., Chiefs and otherwise. So stay tuned. I appreciate all of your time and your watching, and I'll talk to you next time.